We are about to start again with the variables. In the last lecture, we completed the dependent and independent variable. You might remember. So one of the very important chapter, and now we are just completing the last example, and we will move ahead. Just to recall whatever we studied in the independent and dependent variable, we have to apply over here. Now, to start solving this question, there is a one dependent variable and there are more than one independent variable and a dependent variable. So tell me, what are them? The better quality of the training programs in an organization. So do you see any variable over here?
Quality of training program.
And the greater the growth needs of the employees. Do you see any variable over here?
Growth needs of
The greater is their willingness to learn new ways of doing things. So you see, now you are able to find out the variables. It's very important that you are able to find out the variables. If you do not find out the variables correctly, you cannot develop your conceptual model. So what are the dependent, what are the three steps which I mentioned before? Step 1. What is the step 1?
identify the variables.
Identify the variables. So we have done that. Okay? Identify variables. Second, categorize them. Now tell me, what is the categorization over there?
Willingness to learn is the independent.
Quality training program is independent. Growth need is also independent. And willing to learn is dependent.
Do you agree or do you disagree with this statement? He says the quality of the training is one independent variable and the growth needs is another independent variable, and the willingness to learn is the dependent variable. Is it true?
Willingness to grow, to learn is the independent.
Independent variable. What is independent variable? What is independent variable? What is the definition of independent variable? How do you define it?
Independent variables usually have the cause and which affects the dependent.
G. Is it affecting anyone?
Yes, sir.
Is this variable affecting anyone? Which variable?
The growth needs,
Growth needs.
the quality of training. Because if someone is willing to learn, then they would learn.
No, you are using your sense, but over here try to understand with these sentences. Okay? Do not use your common sense. Maybe it would be leading you another way. You have to focus on here.
If an organization has a quality training program or the employee or they have the growth needs, so automatically the willingness will happen.
So you see the independent variables. Independent variable is quality of training. Okay? And another variable is growth needs. Okay? And when we talk about the dependent variable, the willingness to learn. So how would we make its model? ठीक है? Is it correct? Is it correct? You see, quality of training is the first independent, and the other one is growth need, and the dependent variable is willingness to learn. Okay, so these are three steps which we discussed before. Okay, this is the same thing over where its solution is available in your slides, so you may study that. So now we are moving ahead to the moderating and the mediating variables. First we will move to the moderating, then mediating. Okay, so let's learn moderating variable. Moderating variable is the one which has a strong effect on the independent variable. Contingent effect. Contingent effect. Contingent is what? It is the conditional effect. It is the conditional effect on the dependent and independent variable relationship. So you see, it is changing the relationship between the independent and dependent variable. It is making it more strong or weaker. Making the relationship strong or weaker. Okay? That is the presence of a third variable, the moderating variable, modifies the original relationship. It modifies. There must be a change. There must be a change, modification. The original relationship between the independent and dependent variable. Whenever the relationship between the independent variable and the dependent variable becomes contingent or dependent on another variable, we say that the third variable has a moderating effect on the independent variable, dependent variable relationship. So what we have learned? We have learned that there is a relationship. This is the independent variable and this is the dependent variable. So what we say, that there is a variable which is changing the relationship of them. Either it is making it more stronger or weaker. ठीक है? Understood? So this is how we define it. Now we are going toward the examples and more. Have you written down?
So
This.
if we say in other words, it would be correct or not that independent dependent rely on the moderating variable. Is it correct?
No, there is an effect on the existing relationship. There must be an existing relationship before. If there is no relationship between independent and dependent, that is something else. It means like I made independent and dependent. Then I made. If there is no relationship, then there is no moderation. Moderation in what? What relationship you are going to modify? No relationship. When there is no relationship, then there is no modification. There must be some relationship, existing relationship between independent and dependent. This is very important. Got it? Any question? Okay, let's learn with the example. When workers follow the procedures laid down in the manual, they are able to manufacture products that are flawless. They are able to manufacture the products that are flawless. So you see, availability of reference manual and number of rejects. Flawless means number of rejects are when basically when we say flawless, there is no flaw in the manual, in the products. It means there is no rejection. There is no rejection in the outcome, in the output. Okay? So how would we find out? Number of rejects. So when there is a availability of manual, there are lesser number of rejects. Okay? This is called the negative relationship. This is called the negative relationship, or indirect, you may say indirect relationship. When one is increasing, the other one is decreasing. This is another type of the relationship. Now you see, we are about to influence the existing relationship. We are about to influence the existing relationship. Your point. Only those who have the interest and urge to refer to the manual every time a new process is adopted will produce flawless products. only those who have the interest and urge to refer to the manual, interest and inclination. Interest and inclination to the manual every time a new process adopted will produce flawless.
Now the relationship will become positive.
It is not necessary. We will see that. We will see. So interest and inclination is moderating the existing relationship. Okay. So the existing relationship is negative. So it's making it more stronger. It is making it more stronger. Relationship is more stronger. Understood? Let me repeat again. There is an existing relationship between the manual, availability of manual, and the number of rejects. When there is more availability of manual, there are lesser number of rejects. Now we are talking about the inclusion of the moderating variable. When the moderating variable, that is interest and inclination of the labor or of the workforce, so what happens? Their existing relationship is stronger. Whenever there is an availability of manual, there is lesser number of rejects. There is a lesser number of from there it is lesser number of rejects. For example, there were 5 rejects, but now here is 1 reject. Why? Because of this variable, interest and inclination of the manual. Any questions so far? Okay. Another example, that is example number 2 of the moderating variable. The diversity of the workforce contributes more to organizational effectiveness. When there is a diversity of the workforce contributes to the organizational effectiveness, because each group brings its own special expertise and skills to the workplace. So this diagram is telling you the existing relationship between the independent and the dependent variable. Independent variable is workforce diversity and the dependent variable is organizational effectiveness. When there is more diversity, there is more organizational, so there is a positive relationship. Got it? Okay, now we move ahead. Synergy can be exploited, however, only if managers know how to harness the special talents of the diverse work group, otherwise they will remain untapped. So this is very interesting. When the manager is capable, he only knows how to leverage the different talent of the diverse workforce. If he is not able, so he cannot exploit. What happens? Then there is no change with the without managerial expertise, there is no such improvement. When there is a managerial expertise, the organizational effectiveness is doubled. So he knows how to harness, how to improve it. So basically managerial expertise is improving the existing relationship between the workforce diversity and the organizational effectiveness. For example, there is a change in the workforce diversity. There is a change in the organizational effectiveness. Is, for example, 1 workforce diversity. Okay, when there is a change in the workforce diversity, the organizational effectiveness is the same. Over here you see there is a change is OE equals to 2 WD, or you may say it is 1.5. It is 1.5. So over here we say it is 1.5. It is 2. Why? Because of the adoption of the manager. So over here you see the change in the organizational effectiveness is 1.5 times when there is a change in the workforce diversity. Over here you see it is 2 times. It is 2 times. Over there it is 1.5. Over here it is 2 times. So why? Because of the moderating variable. Because of the so moderating variable is basically change the existing relationship. It improves or other ways. So moderating variable is very important when we want to see that what are the key variables to improve the existing relationship. Improve the existing relationship. Any questions so far in this? Okay. You see another example, hours of study and exam score. Hour of study is independent variable, exam score is dependent variable. As many hours you study, your exam score would be better. It might happen with you. Just happened with you. Okay. So over here we say that when there is a moderating variable, that is the IQ. When you have a high IQ, then there is a chance that you would get better score without a good IQ. Okay, your exam score would be much better if you have a high IQ. When you have a high IQ, your exam score would be better. For example, one student, you might have heard this statement by many among us, that there are few students who do not study many hours, but they usually get good score. There is a complaint by the students. Sir, he studies only for few hours, and before exam, even I taught him, this stupid guy, and he got better marks than me. You might have heard this statement. So this is because of the IQ. It can be luck, but it is not always. When there is always, then there is an IQ. There is an IQ. So you see, IQ has a moderating effect on the existing effort of a student. Okay? Another example is stress and depression. When there is a stress, there is a depression. So it is an independent and dependent variable relationship. So when there is a social support, no, interesting example. When there is a social support, the existing relationship changes. There is lesser depression when there is a social support. It happens, you might have witnessed, the people who are more engaged, okay, they have the lesser depression. And it is a research that the longevity of life is related to the social support, that how much related you are. If you want to live long, so you must along with your good friends most of the time. You have to spend good quality time with your friends, because when you spend your good time with your friends, you feel good, and there can never be a depression. There can never be instead you enjoy your life more. It happens when you meet your old friends, not new, old friends. So there are multiple memories, or a very good friend of yours. In fact, how you speak to each other cannot be interpreted by anyone, you know. People call different names to each other, and they enjoy that. So what is that? It is basically a social support. They discuss with each other their problems, their challenges of life, and they solve their problems with each other. So this is called the social support. The social support has a critical impression on the existing relationship between stress and depression. So there is no depression when there is a social support. Got it? Okay, let's do an example. Hurry up. Solve this example. अच्छा जी, तो हमने we discussed this, ठीक है, we discussed this and we just practiced it, and what we found 3 variables, ठीक है, and after finding the 3 variables we categorized them, and after categorizing them we made a conceptual model. It is called conceptual model. Circle, arrow is called conceptual model. So in exam I may ask you to make a conceptual model. So in the conceptual model you have to circle, arrow. So this is the answer which we discussed, training programs. is the independent, and it is dependent. Willingness to learn is dependent, and the growth need is moderate. ठीक है जी? And this arrowhead is important. Never miss it. It shows which one is dependent and which one is. Without this arrowhead, there is nothing is clear. Only line will not make you understand. Okay, let's move ahead. Do another one. Another one. I guess at home. You will do at home. Okay, we are moving ahead. Do you want to do over here or at home? Okay, do it now. Shabash. Pause. A manager finds that of the job classroom training has a great impact on the productivity of the employees. So now we are seeking for the variables. This is the first step. We are seeking for the variables. Step 1. Step 1. Classroom training. Okay. Productivity. ठीक है?
Productivity 60 years.
Of the job training, classroom training. Of the job. Do you know the meaning of the job training? There are multiple kinds of training. One is on job training, that is during the job. And when we say of the job, it means you are at some hotel or some restaurant. Over there you are being trained for some particular skill or some competency. So you see of the job classroom training. So we can take of the job training. Training is enough. Of the job training is enough, because classroom, it is usually in the classroom. So productivity is of the employees in a. If you take productivity of the employees, it is also correct. You can take the employees productivity instead. Okay? It makes a lot of sense, because we do not use the word of like this. Okay? We use employee productivity. However, she also observed that employees over 60 years of age do not seem to derive much benefit and do not improve with such training.
Age over 60.
Employees over?
Age over 60.
Over 60. Age over 60. So you can use this as a
The variable is an age होगा.
exactly. The variable is age. Okay? And we can take it as a.
But sir, उन्होंने specifically mentioned here 60 years की age.
That is. So you can take the both. ठीक है? Age over 60 or age. Both are correct. So when we say age over 60 is a better one. Why? Because it is telling you. For example, employee productivity. It is more representing actually. So we go with this. Only productivity can be the labor productivity, can be the productivity of anything, productivity of machinery even. So we talk about the employee productivity and of the job training and this. So step 2 is we categorize the variable. So what is the categorization? Independent is
So independent variables is classroom training. Classroom training will happen and it will affect the productivity of the.
classroom training. Yes, it can also be used. Classroom training. It is in fact it is a better one because it is concise. Classroom training. ठीक है? And the dependent is
Productivity of the.
productivity. Yes, both are correct. ठीक है? And the moderator is
Over employee over 60. Age over 60.
age over 60. ठीक है? What should be the model? What should be the model?
Sir,
Yes.
yes, uniting by a circle or a square or a rectangle, does this define any concept?
Yes. It shows it is a model, conceptual model or theoretical model. Basically, modeling of concepts is with these, with the square and with the circle. Good question. What does it represent? It represents a variable. It represents a variable. So you can use the block one, or you can use the circle. It is not block, it is a rectangle actually. Rectangle and circle. So you see the productivity is here, and over here is classroom training. Classroom training. ठीक है? Greater than 60. Greater than 60. Done? Yes. That's how it goes. Okay, let's see answer. ठीक है? So this is the answer. You can check your answer as well. These examples are given in the book. ठीक है? Okay, let's move ahead. There is another example which I guess you will be doing at home. Yes. ठीक है? Yes? No, this is not off. This example you will do at home. And this example as well. This example you have to do at home. And these are the assignments. Bilal sir, assignments saying these all are the assignments. Home means assignments.
5.5 and 5.6.
हाँ. Okay, let's begin with the mediating variable. Let's begin with the mediating variable. This is the last variable we are about to discuss. Mediating variable is it is called intervening variable. It is called intervening variable. Is one that surfaces between the time the independent variables start operating to influence the dependent variable. The time, it is a time when it is impacting the dependent variable. And at the time their impact is felt on it, there is thus a temporal quality of time dimension to the mediating variable. Okay, so you see x and y, there is an existing relationship and there is a mediator over here. So it is not necessary they have an existing relationship. It is not necessary. Like the moderating, it is not necessary that they have an existing relationship, but the relationship is possible when there is a mediating variable in between. There is an independent variable and there is a dependent variable. Okay, there is no relationship over here. There is no direct relationship over here, but there is a mediating variable. There is a mediating variable. When there is a mediating variable, the relationship is possible. A relationship is possible. So basically we say it full mediation. It is called full mediation. When there is no direct relationship between the independent and dependent and there is only relationship possible through the mediating variable, it is called full mediation. It is called and when there is a relationship as well between independent and dependent and the existing relationship is with the mediating through the mediating variable, it is called partial mediation. It is called partial mediation. So we have a partial mediation or we have a full mediation. Okay? I am repeating myself. When there is no relationship between the independent and dependent without a mediating variable, it is called full mediation. When there is a relationship between independent and dependent, and also through the mediating variable, it is called partial mediation. Got it? क्या बताया हारिस साहब? Over here.
Mediating variable.
Yeah. What is that?
Intervening variable.
Yes, very good. And what did I say? What is full mediation?
Without mediation.
Without? When there is no direct relationship.
Exactly.
When there is no, remember, when there is no direct relationship, it is called full mediation. It is called direct relationship. It is called, when there is no direct relationship, it is called full mediation. That means it is through the mediating variable only. It is through the only. And when there is a direct relationship as well with the mediating relationship, it is called the partial mediation. ठीक है, यहाँ तक क्लियर है? अब आगे चलते हैं. So mediation makes the relationship possible. There are times when the mediation makes the relationship possible. Like if I say there is no student can contact me without CR. No student can contact me without
CR is the mediating.
So what relationship do we have? Very good. Full mediation. And when I say you can directly contact me as well and through CR as well. Very good. Shabash. Okay, let's take a practical scenario. पॉज कर दें.